I've grappled with the whole identity thing. There's actually a story that I want to share with you that pretty much illustrates my experience with this issue. I gotta admit that I'll feel a little exposed if I share it the way that it is. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to hide behind the story and I'll share it with you in the third person. All right? All right, here goes. Once upon a time, there was a boy in search of his identity. He had searched far.
2, 1. Introduce yourself.
Oh wow, you see, it's good to be told what to do. You know the Jewish prayer?
What's the Jewish
One
prayer?
Jewish prayer.
There's only one Jewish prayer?
Well no, but often the Jewish prayers are, thank you God for telling us what to do. Thank you God for commanding us to keep the Sabbath holy.
Psalm 119, right? It's the longest psalm in the entire book of Psalms.
Yeah.
And it's all about loving the law. Thank you for the law. Thank you for your laws and statutes and
This
decrees.
is a little bit more. Thank you for telling me to love the law.
You know, it brings a little clarity in the world, and sometimes, well, I personally am grateful for rules to follow. I love rules, I need
them.
rules.
I need
yeah.
them. I have to be
Boundaries.
careful about them. For example, I overate 2 nights ago.
What did you eat?
I ate about 8 pieces of matzah and a whole 8 ounces of cheese.
Of cheese?
Yep.
That's a full block.
Yep, yep.
Right? Full block of cheese,
And I
and
kept-
was it whole wheat matzah at least?
Yes.
Okay.
And I felt fat for the first time in a long time.
Hmm. Can I tell you something?
Yes.
You don't look fat.
Thank you. I'm the same weight as I was 50 years ago.
Oh, you're fighting weight.
But I'm an inch and a half shorter.
Yeah.
Isn't this fascinating, everybody? We are, isn't this really speaking?
I have a friend who's an ER doc, and he told me that when you get to your 60s,
Oh.
you become very comfortable talking with your friends and the people of your age, talking with them about your joint problems.
Oh.
When you're in your 80s,
Yes.
you're very comfortable talking about your bowel movements.
Wow.
That's what we have to look forward to.
This is probably
Thank you, MS, for that.
too much information,
insight.
but I'm going to see. This is we're doing the way we talk in the green room.
You see the green behind us?
Yes.
That means green room.
Remind us.
We're in the green room.
Fortunately, because I said that, I'm not going to say what I said before of saying. Laugh.
That's okay, because we're in the green room. And so there's
But who are we?
well, it's your show, so why don't you introduce it?
Hi there, Columbia. This is your old friend Michael Koran. Columbia was in my psychic skills class about
Oh,
35 years ago.
how many years ago?
Maybe 35 years.
35
She
years
came as a
ago.
12-year-old.
No way.
She was young, but she. Hi, Columbia. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Christine, if she's there, who I love even more for loving you. I do.
And let me see. I'll say hi, just in case they're watching. Hi, say to Christopher and to Matthew, and these are neighbors of mine up in North
Oh, and
Cambridge.
Timo.
Timo.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks, I will have my good friend Timo on.
No, wow.
Well, I told you.
Oh, I didn't
He
think
won't
it
be
was
on
Timo.
this show. You're going to have somebody
Yes,
else.
I didn't know it was Timo. I thought it was someone else.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is somebody else. It's Timothy.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Timothy and Timo are the same person.
But don't you have a close friend named Timothy?
Yes.
How was I to know? How?
Is it something I said?
You said Timothy is coming on. How would I know it's not your friend Timothy and that it was Timo? How? You so trust my psychic abilities. Don't
Well,
you?
you've learned a lot in 35 years. Cyclically.
Who are we? This is Michael Koran, and this is, as he would say, I love it when he says this, my good friend Michael Mack.
And we are good friends. And we are, as you can see, we're in the green room. And what that means is, I don't know if you'd say that we are no holds barred, but we are casual. This is casual Sundays, you
Yes.
could say.
Trying to talk as honestly as we can, as if as if no one is watching.
It used to be that we
And it might be true.
It used
if
to be
Columbus not there.
that we had a tightly sketched out show.
We did. We still do.
Tightly scripted show. Now they were in the green room. We're relaxing.
No, but we still have a theme.
We have an idea. Yes.
Yeah,
Idea, a theme.
I have a hard theme. It's spring now.
It is spring. It is more than spring. We are in the last day of the octave of Easter.
And today is for the Orthodox.
Yes, it's Orthodox Easter today.
Yes.
And for the Western Christian churches, this is the last day of the octave of Easter. So it's like 8 days, including both Sundays. That's
Wow.
the octave.
And what happens during the octave?
Well, we are remembering what was written in the Gospels about Jesus' resurrection and how he was making appearances all over Galilee and Jerusalem
And eating,
and
as
upper
usual.
room
Eating.
and eating.
Asking for some
And
fish.
today it was Doubting Thomas made his appearance.
Oh my.
Yeah. So Thomas said, "Unless I put my hands into his wounds, I will not believe." And so the disciples, the apostles, were in the upper room, and with Thomas this time. He had missed out previously, and Jesus appears and says to Thomas, "Well, here I am. If you want to put your fingers in my palms and put your hands in my side, I'm right here for you." And Thomas does that.
Oh, so apparently, Joshua Jesus, as I like to call him,
I believe this is from John, by the way, the Gospel of John.
when resurrected or revived, as I like to say, well, revived for sure, the wounds would be there, yes?
Yeah,
Apparently.
yeah.
So that's more,
So not yet ascended
No.
to heaven.
so revived, you still have the wounds. I do believe he was, nowadays we would say he was revived with the spring.
Well, here's the thing about what you believe, which is that it kind of takes some of the mystery out of it, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Although I have to say that as somebody else who has a mind, an analytical mind,
It's true. One of the things I love about you is your mind.
that creatures who have minds want to, as the National Enquirer used to say, maybe still says, inquiring minds want to know.
Yes.
We want to know. We want to unpack the mystery.
Yes.
But we don't want to unpack it, okay, I'll speak for myself, don't want to unpack it so much that the mystery is gone.
That's
It's
a
been reduced.
very interesting question.
reduced
Not the
to
one
a
I wanted
scientific-
to talk about, but we're going with the flow. Does that, see, I believe that Jesus was, and other people believe this too. Did you know that during this time, the Romans crucified 2 people, and when they were taken down, they were revived? This is
What are you talking about?
In Jesus' time,
Yeah.
the Romans had their hobbies. We put people in prison.
So was there who wrote this? I mean, there's some reporter of some kind?
well, our buddy Bart
Josephus?
Ehrman talks about this.
Oh, okay. All right.
You too.
Bart Ehrman, who professor of religion at University of North Carolina,
Yes,
Chapel Hill, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
That Bart Ehrman,
Yeah.
that Professor Ehrman.
Who really loves Jesus in this way, but he likes to debunk the myth part of it. So it's an interesting question. If Jesus, like these other 2 people, was revived after he was on the cross, because he was only on for 3 hours. Right? They had the time. And that's really, even Pilate said, so short a time in the Gospels.
They were surprised
Yeah.
that he died so quickly.
Right, and it's so nowadays, and they didn't have a way of telling if someone was dead or not.
Well, they don't have the techniques we have today.
Right,
for
yes.
sure.
So it could well have been that Jesus, I love it this way, tended by his friends, wrapped in a beautiful linen, Usually people, when they were crucified, were literally thrown to the dogs. Okay, here Fido, and they threw the person. So it could well be that he was wrapped and loved in fine linen, taken to his own personal tomb, and could have been revived. And then the hard question, which Michael Mack brought up, does that take away the mystery, or does it make it available to all of us when even we feel like dying, that we can be revived again and again and again and again and again?
Well, the question that must arise for everybody who hears the story and reflects on it, the question that must arise is, what does this story have to do with me?
Yes.
And so that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
It sounds to me. It's like you're hearing the story and you're giving it meaning for you.
And not just for me, but for everybody. Everybody can be revived. If you take this story to heart and look at it as one possibility the way I am, oh my, we could feel like we're dead and in a tomb. I seem to be an expert at that. Everybody has their hobbies. When I feel like I'm dead and in a tomb, I can be, with the help of good friends like Michael Mack in Colombia, I can be revived again and again and again.
Yeah. How can I say no to that?
Does that take away mystery? Or is that itself a more down to
Well, we are
mystery?
fully immersed in mystery all the time. And science, I think a true scientist would be the first to admit, we don't know everything. Here's what we have so far.
And I want to
But
wonder.
the more that we look,
more wonder.
the stranger and more wonderful and less mechanical, actually, the universe gets.
Newton said he felt at the end of his life, he felt like a child playing with pebbles by the seashore.
Well, Newton's laws, though, lasted virtually unchanged for, what, 300 years, 400 years? And then came along, I mean, and they still stand
Totally true.
within their own
Sphere.
framework.
Yeah.
But with the advent of quantum mechanics and the understanding of the properties of particles at a subatomic level and how they behave with each other, we have a very different understanding about the universe.
And relativity too.
For sure.
Those
For sure.
space bends and the Newton stands. But he was right, he was a child. So a good scientist would know, would wonder.
Yes.
We wonder. That's why they call it hypotheses, they don't even call them truths.
Well, they're theories. I mean, they start as hypotheses, they work their way to theories.
And laws even, yes.
And laws.
But they're open to, as they have been.
Of course. Of course.
So, I love your question. I wonder,
What was my question?
I mean, the resurrection is a mystery. I don't like it being limited to, my God, as I understand him and her, would not want to just do it with one person. He might do it once, the first time, but we all can be revived again and again. And what you're just saying now, that itself is a mystery, right?
I feel called to express my own belief right now, which is reflected in what you just said, that every creature, every being in creation has the Christ consciousness, if you will, if you want to call it that, within it. That image and likeness of God within it. And the journey of the soul is to recognize that truth and to stand in awe of that incomprehensible love which has given itself to all of creation.
Amen, brother. Isn't he like a walking prayer? Doesn't even have to decide to pray, and we get a prayer. And I think you saying it that way helps it become truer.
Well, here's a question, man, for you and for me and for all of us. What do you want to believe? I mean, if you have an entire universe of possible beliefs,
yes,
What are you going to believe? What is the thing that you're going to believe that's going to be the greatest possible thing?
At the end of Threepenny Opera,
Yeah?
they sang it sarcastically, but I love it because it wasn't. Or maybe they made a happy ending. Happy ending to our story, like they taught us back in school. Happy ending to our story, when we live the golden rule.
Yeah, well, how interesting that that could be sung both sarcastically
And truly.
or earnestly and sincerely.
Which makes
So
sense.
here's the question. The question applies again. Which do you want? Of those two possibilities, which would you rather live?
Whenever offered a choice between A and B, Columbia always takes C.
Always pick both.
C and both and C,
Okay.
yes. I want both. I
Yeah.
mean, you might have noticed once or twice that the days don't end happily.
Sometimes they do, actually.
Yeah, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't.
Yeah. It depends on actually where you want the ending to be.
Ah, yes.
Because that raises in my
Yes.
mind that ancient Chinese story or proverb or parable having to do with a farmer and his son and a horse.
I know that one, yes, but you can share it again.
It goes something like,
It's a long one, no?
I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it under a minute.
Wow.
Okay, so okay, give me the first one. And I can do all the rest.
Okay, someone got wounded and they couldn't walk well. I saw in the farmer's
Okay. No, you're way ahead of me.
Oh, I am.
I gotta back up. Okay, there's a farmer. Farmer has a son, and actually, even before the son, and the son is like working in the fields,
Yes.
and while he's working in the field, a horse passes through the field, and the son grabs it, and all the townspeople say, "Oh, you're so lucky. You now have a horse where you didn't have a horse." And the wise old farmer says, what does he say?
Que sera,
That's what he says. Que sera, sera.
whatever will be, will be.
Right. So the farmer is like, it could be good, could be bad. Who knows?
Hard
Who
to
knows?
see.
And so
Sera.
so then the son jumps on top of the horse and goes riding. Horse throws him, and the son breaks his leg. And all the townspeople say, "Oh, what a sad story! What a bad thing that happened to you. Now your son has a broken leg."
Yeah.
And then what does the old man say?
Que sera.
And then what happens? What happens is that the son has a broken leg. He's lame. He's laid up. And that's when the press gang from the army comes through, and they're looking for troops, and they come, and they discover that the son can't be taken away because he has a broken leg, and so all the townspeople say, "Hey, you're so lucky! All good things happen to you." And the wise old man says,
Que sera.
Anyway, this Shaggy Dog story goes on and on and on and on.
It's in
You get the point.
It's in the Koran too. Similar,
Is it really?
Similar.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, and we were saying this because.
And why were we saying this?
We're getting older, Columbia. We're getting older. What brought this up?
There
We were
was
talking.
something.
We were talking about mystery and revival,
Right.
and I was with the
And Bart
cent-
Ehrman.
and yes, and people being crucified and brought to life afterwards.
Yeah. But how did we?
Well, we can just focus on the central question.
Oh, and we got to physics, right?
And life is wondering, and you never know. We're saying like.
That's true. Yeah. Okay. We never know. We never know what's good or bad.
But
Although some things obviously
I'm
look
just,
really bad.
but I'm very touched by your question. Do we lose the mystery when we can all be revived again and again, rather than that one great mystery? How could someone really be dead, and come to life?
But I think that you're onto something when you're suggesting that that story is really a metaphor for a much greater truth. And the greater truth is the constant dying and resurrection
And
that's
that's
happening
really,
all the time within us
especially-
and outside
Especially
of us.
if you're into the mystery of it and don't know, as you were saying. Case around, what is this? I broke my leg, it's really bad. Well, maybe not.
Yeah, yeah.
So that would be taking.
So we don't really know what anything is.
Yes,
We have working assumptions
Yes, and we.
from which we create
Look-
hypotheses
Look how
and
great
theories and laws.
We're here now. Who would have guessed how good it is? I wouldn't
Certainly
have
not
guessed.
us before the show.
No.
We came here with nothing.
Well,
Except the Gospel of Mark. You brought that in
Oh, yes.
just in case.
So we had something else to say. This is the Green Room show. We did have this was my question. We only have 6 minutes. And although we'll be back, but with probably a different theme, Michael Mack's God Talk follows.
Yes, at 7:30.
Yes. So, spring.
Yes.
I'm feeling-
Renewal, revival.
Yes, I'm feeling in my,
There's still light outside.
yes, in my bones, sap coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's painful. It's not just nice.
It's not just ecstatic, it's also painful.
It's like something is breaking out of me.
Yeah.
And
Well, didn't Paul say that about about all of creation being
birth pangs.
birth pangs of
Oh,
creation?
that feels better. So funny, you get the right word,
Hmm.
it feels better.
Yeah.
I was once feeling very bad, and after careful introspection, brilliant man as I am, I discovered, oh, I'm lonely.
Hmm.
And I felt better. Oh, I know what's going on, all those confusing feelings.
And did that inspire you to call
It
somebody?
might have even inspired me to call someone. At least I knew.
Or maybe it was enough. I've got the word.
Yeah,
that's all I
now I'm
need. Now I
happy.
can go
I'm
back.
happy. I discovered what has been bothering me for my whole life. So it's the birth pangs that feels better. It does. So the next question is, I was talking with my dear beyond significant other Michelle, and wondering if we're made of love. We were talking about this in the other green room.
In the
I mean, we
first
can
green.
feel the love in the air in spring, especially, right? The birds and the flowers.
Well, I don't know about feeling that love, but maybe.
I don't know either, actually. I wasn't quite genuine. But are we? I mean, I have one poem called "Rotten to the Core."
Yeah, but now is not the time for that.
No, he was afraid I was going to sing it. He was afraid.
I was afraid he was going to break into song.
For 4 minutes, it's a long song, but we won't.
Que sera.
I much prefer to spend 4 minutes singing that. Anyway, but underneath the rot, there was sap that was crunched and beaten down.
Mm.
So I wondered, many people say in our essence we're free loving beings, but we've got lots of crud around it. And I wonder if our bodies and our bones and our brains and our spirit are really made of freeing love, but they've gotten encrusted and stuck and twisted.
Some have said that only love is real.
The Sufis say that.
Okay. Only love is real. Only love is true. Only love lasts. Only love is. And that all of creation in this birth that we are all participating in, we're giving birth to and being birthed by love.
And it's a freeing love, which makes it hard, because then it gets confusing. Because we can freely make bad choices
Yeah.
and get messed up.
Yeah.
But if we know what you're saying, we might make a bad choice here and there. Have you ever made a bad choice?
Oh, I've made a few.
No. Michael.
But then again, too few to mention. Da, 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 da.
Welcome to the green room, everybody. So, if we make the bad choice and create something that doesn't quite work for us, underneath that is this freeing love, right? If we can cleanse ourselves of our bad choices.
Well, here's the thing, for me at least, that prayer or perhaps meditation is that place where I go to remember that central self that is love.
Yeah.
And recognizing it there, seeing it there, feeling it there, experiencing it there, it's easier for me to go out into the world and share from it, or maybe recognize it.
Or recognize it in others, you mean?
Yeah. I mean, that it's to see the face of, I mean, Jesus said something like that, you know, I'm going to paraphrase, until you see my face in the face of the prisoner, and in the face of the beggar, and in the face of wherever you wouldn't expect it, until you see my face there, you haven't seen me.
And he even said, I am in prison.
Yeah.
I am in the hospital. I am the wounded. That's me.
Yeah.
There's,
And for us to get the next step beyond that is to say it's not only Christ, it's us.
well, everybody is.
It's everybody.
Everybody's
There's
everybody.
only one of us right here.
Everybody's everybody. On that note, we have 28 seconds.
To wrap it up,
Well, it feels
what do we
like
have to say for ourselves
I think
today? In a sentence.
we are everybody and everybody's us.
And
it's
and
basically-
love is all,
it's
only love
basic-
is real.
It's basically loving, free loving. Loving free, we are made.
And love is a free gift to us, and we've got 5
And
seconds to
we're the
say
gift, and so are you.
bye.
Thank you. Wow.